What's up, interwebs? It's me, Kyo-Killa, and today I'm here to review Earthlock for the second time, this time on the Nintendo Switch. Let's get started. First, I want to address why I'm reviewing this again. Earthlock was already a more than solid title, but Snowcastle Games spent the last couple years improving the game so that they could relaunch it on Xbox One, PS4, PC, and now on the Switch. If you own a copy on any of the previously released available consoles, you'll get the upgrades via a free patch. Isn't that sweet? The developers saw my initial review and were kind enough to offer me a copy, of which I opted to receive on the Nintendo Switch, both because I wanted to compare how the experience fares on a console less powerful than the Xbox One, and because it's Nintendo, y'all! Since this is my second review, I'll try to bridge the gap between information that's relevant to people who have already watched my initial review and information relevant to new viewers and prospective players. Let's go over the basic premise. Earthlock is a turn-based RPG that has clearly been inspired by universally popular RPGs of the past. I say clearly because this game is chock full of minute details and design elements that, if you played games like Final Fantasy and the Chrono series, will evoke a sense of familiarity. You'll run around the world interacting with NPCs, collecting and completing quests, battling, and working your way through the story. And even though this game is a love letter to those previous turn-based RPGs, Earthlock doesn't overtly pander to those games, and does a good job of making its in-game systems feel familiar while also fresh. The combat, for instance, is similar to any turn-based game you've played before, but instead of the traditionally used mana, your resource is Amri, these little squares, which regenerate throughout combat and is the resource that enables all characters to use abilities. Each character has a couple of stances that they can alternate between that focus on different styles of combat or abilities. For instance, Eamon can use melee-centric abilities with his blade, or ranged abilities with his blaster. Your characters gain talent points via leveling up and completing various activities, and are then used to build your skill tree with cards. These cards come in a variety of types, but a majority of them are used to boost your stats. The nice thing about this system is that you can build your character with more freedom than many turn-based RPGs. There's a hub facility that you unlock in the early hours of the game that enables you to craft weapons, plant seeds and harvest their corresponding crop, use alchemy to make potions and ammo from those crops, create talent cards, treasure hunt, and interact with this handsome motherfucker. The island also allows you to teleport to different areas that you've visited by way of these save point frogs. Each character also has out-of-combat abilities that enable them to do things like harvest plants, sneak around, collect energy to aid in puzzle completion, and hunt for treasure. And you can switch between characters with the push of a button. All of these systems mold together well, and give things that would ordinarily be boring, like walking across an overworld map, purpose. As far as the combat is concerned, it's your standard rock, paper, scissors affair, in that certain enemies are weak to certain types of attacks, and everything is stat-based. If a character has higher speed, it will attack more frequently. If it has high magic defense, elemental abilities won't do as much damage, etc. There's also a bond system. God, I'm so sorry. Which is pretty unique, and adds another element of depth to the combat. When you place two characters next to each other, they have a unique bond perk to that particular pairing. As they fight together, their bond grows or levels up, unlocking more perks relevant to that pair. In lieu of limit breaks, a bond meter fills between the paired characters, and when it fills fully, enables them to use supercharged versions of their traditional abilities, like regen, no longer just healing one character, but instead healing the whole party, or Eamon's ranged attacks becoming amped up multi-target versions of his single-target abilities. It's worth noting here that every couple of bond levels, the characters receive some talent points, so it's worth it to spend time pairing up characters and spending some time grinding. Just put on your MMO pants and pretend like you're rep grinding for Battle for Azeroth. The combat starts at a basic difficulty, but begins to ramp up as you approach the desert portion of the game. Strategizing your talent point distribution and observing enemy attacks is a must, as some of the challenging fights will force you to really think about who to preemptively slap that regen on, or when to effectively use your bond meter abilities. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's too difficult, but it is challenging in a way that I appreciate, and that challenge keeps me engaged. Thanks, Snowcastle. The graphics use similar, if not the same textures as before, but the lighting engine has improved dramatically, and it makes the general look of the game more impressive. Actually, this game looks and runs way better than it did before, with the previously common frame rate dips now more rare, and the animations are much more polished. What's really impressive to me is, I was playing it on the Xbox One for the previous review, and the new and improved iteration looks and runs better on the Switch. I can only imagine booting it up on the Xbox One would be another world of improvement, but my point is, it's markedly better than it was before on a handheld than it was on a more powerful console.
Hashtag nailed it. Hashtag beef party. What?
The sound design is still one of my favorite parts of the game, and evokes those Uematsu feels. Yeah, still Xanarkand. There's an impressive variety of in-game sound effects, and though I like the sound design in general, the sound levels are a little wonky and required some adjustments on my end. This is a minor gripe, but I'm saddened by the fact that there's no victory fanfare after completing a battle. Before I get into the conclusion, let me go over some of the changes I noticed from the first iteration. This is for those OG players. I noticed that the dialogue had changed, and for the better. The interface has subtle differences in combat. Notice the faceplates and the health orientation. There are added mini-games like treasure hunting and chasing these adorable fuckers. The lighting engine makes almost everything look better. There's a fast-forward button in combat. Almost too many little changes to go through here, but I'm sure you can Google it and find more online. With all of that being said, the game is just damn fun. The story isn't incredible, and it's sometimes tropey, but it gets the job done. The combat, talent, and farming cycle is fun, addicting, and rewarding. The visuals are unique, cartoony, and easy to look at for hours, though I can see how some people won't be a fan of that cutesy vibrance. The animations have improved, but can still be a little stiff, and the music is well composed. My complaints are minor, and it's nice to see a studio that started with a Kickstarter campaign continuing to listen to feedback, and even overhaul their entire game based on what the community has been saying. What I'm more impressed by, and didn't know until recently, is that the studio only has 12 or 13 employees. Impressive stuff. All in all, if what you've seen looks or sounds appealing, I highly suggest picking up this game. You'll get at the very least a solid 30 hours of gameplay, or if you're like me, 60 plus. This game will give you those nostalgic turn-based RPG feels, while also giving you modern crafting, questing, and leveling. And even though it isn't perfect, it is memorable and well worth the asking price. If none of what you've seen appeals to you, I would steer clear. Thank you so much for watching. Have any questions about the game, or about something I didn't address, or you just want to ask about my grandma? Fire away in the comments below. Just make sure you click that pretty, oh so clickable subscribe button, and follow me on Twitch to see me stream random gaming goodness on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. You guys are amazing as always. I'll see you next time. Later.